Well, for us, 104 years, there have been years where we've made tons of money, and there have been years where we've lost money, right? So you don't make it to 104 years. Like if we would have just thrown in the towel on a down year, we would have been gone a long time ago. We're here just simply because we want to be here. Like we love it. It's just a fourth generation family business. Like it's a part of our family, right? So we're just gonna be here until we don't want to be here anymore. Essentially,
So
if
200?
we ever get 200 maybe, I don't know.
We are so back. We're here.
Yes, yes we are.
Couple of dudes on a podcast. So original, right?
I know.
Yeah. Well, thanks for coming in, Wyatt.
Yeah,
I
thanks for having me.
Yeah. We're gonna talk about Yeagers and your family, running a family business. And for those of you that are listening to this, Yeager's is a sporting goods store. They do everything from paddling, which is pretty unique in the area, hiking, footwear, guns, and also toys and kids. And it's, you guys sell just about everything. Like you said, a little bit of everything. But tell me a little bit more about you, your family, Bellingham. How did this all start?
Yeah, well, kind of depends on how far back you want to go.
Let's go all the way back.
All the way back.
Why
well,
not?
yeah, I was doing a little bit of research yesterday because I was trying to get all these dates in my head,
And that's how, by the way, that's how long ago this was.
Yeah,
It's a long family lineage.
Yeah, and unfortunately, a lot of the people that I would ask these questions have passed away at this point. But luckily, there's some literature out there. We've got some pictures, some photographs, and everything. So my great grandpa Ira, was born in 1900, and he moved here with his family from Iowa. And from what I've read, this is why we're talking about the start date of it. We've been saying 1921, so we've been celebrating our 104th anniversary. That's a flexible date.
Right.
From what I've read, and our original location, a lot of people don't know, was on State Street. So what happened is when he was 18 years old, 1918, him and his grandpa, they rented a spot on State Street out on the corner there, and it was a used furniture store.
Yeah.
So they were selling used furniture, and they were kind of making some money doing that, and then he started getting a little bit more involved in fishing, right? So what he did is he had this boat, and he kind of started like a guide charter business on the side too, and he went down to Seattle, and he bought like a demo Evinrude outboard motor. He would put it on the boat and take these guys out on the guides, these guided fishing trips on the Skagit, on the Nooksack, and then he would, at the end of the trip, be like, "Wow, that's a great motor. You want to buy one? I got him." He just kept a ton of them in his garage. So he became the first Evinrude dealer up here in town, and started selling those. And then the people he'd take out, they'd be like, "Why aren't you, stocking tackle in the shop as well?" So he started doing that, and then that's kind of how it became a sporting goods store, is because the people that he was selling these motors to, they would come in and they would want to buy all the stuff. They don't want to go down to Seattle and get it. So that's kind of how it organically became. It just became a store. Like people would ask him to carry it, and he would carry it.
Yeah.
So that's kind of how we started. We started as a used furniture store.
Where's the furniture now? That's a different.
No, we don't. There's a furniture store right over here.
Yep.
So yeah, I don't know at what point we got out of the furniture business, but that's how it started. So I'm gonna do more research, but I'm thinking about actually saying we started in 1918, because
Yep.
that's when him and his grandfather came together and started Yeager's.
Yep.
So
it moves. And you were talking a little bit pre-episode about how this was where we are sitting right now was the outskirts of town.
yeah.
And there were some concerns around when your family built the building, that it was like a little bit too far out of town. And tell me a little bit more about like what we were talking about with location.
So the building over here on Northwest was a 1956 build, and that took some. His daughter, Ira Yeager's daughter, Marianne, she was very instrumental. She's really the reason why we are over here, why we are the business we are today. A department store, 24,000 square feet of retail space, 2 stories. That was her vision. he kind of wanted to hunt and fish, and he loved doing the trips and, selling some motors on the side. That was his thing. But she was really the one who was instrumental into making Yeager's what it is today. But yeah, back then, 1956, that was getting kind of on the end of town. But really, the reason we moved over there was to have space for boats, because we were big in the boat. We had a whole boat magazine and everything. We were selling boats back then. And that real estate was just going to be like a giant boatyard, essentially. But then, she convinced him, she had gone down to Seattle and she had seen some of the department stores down in Seattle. And she said, oh, we should try to do one of those up here in Bellingham. So she convinced him, and they built the original building. And then, years later, they expanded on the back of it, and then they dug out a basement. And so the building, like over the years, it just keeps getting bigger, Our most recent thing was the annex, which is on the rear portion. And I think we finally built that. It was like 2012 or something like that.
So constantly evolving.
It's gotten bigger. The only thing I wish, it was kind of the last of the era to put storefronts like on the street like that. Now everything is set back, so you have the parking lot in the front. So it's kind of cool because it's different like that, and you're driving on the street and you can look in the window. But the parking situation is a little weird because you like park in the back, and then there's like 3 entrances. And if I were to build it today, I'd probably do it a little differently, but it works.
Yeah.
So
because at that point, that Northwest is a pretty low traffic road.
Mm-hmm.
We're out here in the boonies at that time, right? And you wanted it to be on the road so people could see it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's always been my experience with, like, when I go to any sporting goods store, I'd go with my grandfather or go with my dad to, when I was down in Seattle, the spots they would go were similar in the sense that they're like right on the front, but obviously everything is grown around it.
Mm-hmm.
But so over time, the inventory expanded, and then tell me more about like competition over time. And I know that your window of your experience with it is however long you've been alive for, but you've heard all these stories, everything's been passed down. But what was it like running that business for your family over the years? And I mean, is there any sort of blueprint at that time, or is it just, hey, this is what we like to do, this is what we're all outdoorsy, we like to do this, we like to do this? People kept asking for, hey, you need to carry this. Was there anybody else doing it at the time, or has there been competition over the years?
Yeah, I mean, especially for us, as a family-owned business, there's no investors or anything like that. It's just us. It's our family, our money, right? So we had the flexibility to do whatever we want and exactly what we want when we want. But that being said, we're always fighting corporate. Corporate stuff comes into town. So yeah, there's always been competition. There always will be. I think, in 2025, the greatest competition for us is online right now.
Yeah.
I'm not worried about brick and mortar stores. It's just online, which is why we have a website, yeagersportinggoods.com. Plug the link.
Go there, pick it out, go pick it up in person.
Yeah, you can do that. We got store pickup, but we're shipping stuff. So yeah, it only took us 100 years to figure out how to do e-commerce, but you can go online and you can see our e-commerce team is small. It's just one person. But we have, it's like something like 18,000 items on our website right now, which is not all the store, but it's a good chunk of it. And we have new stuff shipping every day, so it's kind of always trying to get new stuff on the website. But yeah, I think, like I said, it was the e-commerce thing. We thought we would never do it, and we didn't think we could do it, but really kind of around COVID, we were like, we don't know what this looks like moving forward. With everyone having to stay home, so we built the website.
Well, what's so powerful about the way you've had this business grow over time, I'm much more inclined, especially if I'm going to go, like I got my last pair of hiking boots there, and the person that I talked to was like, oh, where do you hike? Tell me about, like, it was this whole other experience where it didn't feel like I was getting pushed on one item. It felt like, well, why don't you try these 2 on? This is great for the terrain that you hike on. This will be great. And it was the most knowledgeable sales experience. And also there wasn't like one product that was in specific there's the best product, but there's not also this push for whatever sort of higher profit margin. It felt like it was a very organic experience. And there are a lot of things I buy online, but buying camping equipment, hiking boots, ski equipment, fill in the blank, like that for me has to be going in person and interacting and having that experience. Tell me a little bit more about your client, like the customer base. Who are the people that like, are these people that have just been lifers that have been coming there for their entire life? Do you have a lot of new people come in? Is it just mostly like word of mouth? Because you guys do great marketing. It was very organic social media, and I enjoy that because there's too much polished stuff out there.
Yeah.
And that's not a knock at all.
Yeah, no.
I gravitate more towards like, this is who we are. This is what we do. These are the people. But who are your customers? Who are those people? And are you growing that, or is it just like you have such a great customer base that you guys are doing great?
Yeah. Who are our customers? I think that we have, I mean, other than maybe like a restaurant, our customer base is incredibly diverse. I mean, we have old people shopping there that have been here, their whole times, and they've got to see Yeagers change over the years and evolve. And then we have all these new Western kids that come and, they've never been in the store before. And they're like, you guys have a downstairs? What? So it's everybody. And like I said, we just carry so much product. I mean, we have people that come in there just to shop for toys, and they don't ski, they don't snowboard. They could care less about hiking. And, then we have people that are coming in there and, don't even know we have the toys. And like I said, it's just such a variety of products. Our customers are just as diverse. So if anything, I think, like I said, anybody who lives in Bellingham knows about us. They've driven by the store, whatever. If anything, I think for us, the customer that we try to market to is, younger people that had just moved here. If you're going to Western, I don't really know. Like I said, it's not really on the outskirts of town anymore, but it is a little bit. I mean, if you don't have a car, why would you be taking the bus over there? You got to see a Facebook ad for something about skis, or there's so much stuff that's walkable, like downtown area, but I don't think a Western student's going to walk all the way here.
When I was at Western, I was in the bubble.
Yeah.
The minute I got out of Western, I was like, oh my God, there's a whole town here.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. I feel like a lot of Western students don't make it too far. The furthest they make it away is maybe to go to Oyster Dome for a hike or Teddy Bear Cove or something like that. But I don't see them really coming to this side of town too much.
Yep.
So, extremely diverse customer base, but I think our marketing, we are trying to market towards college students more.
Yep.
So,
well, going back to my experience, my last pair of boots I got, that experience where the person I felt like was very excited about it.
Mm-hmm.
And not in like I'm going to make a sale, but in like I'm actually just really excited about the outdoors and hiking. When you guys are hiring people, that felt like an extra just cherry on top of the total experience. When you're looking to hire somebody, or for the people that have been with you for a long time, what's the most important factor for you in finding those people?
Yeah. I think when I sit down for the interview process, it's not, do you know a lot about this particular thing, but are you willing to learn?
Yeah.
A lot of the people, if they're trainable, then we can train them up. We can get them to have a good knowledge base. It's really more of a personality sort of thing. If your personality is going to work out, if I feel like you're going to engage with customers, that's really more important for me. Because it's retail, so a lot of our employees are going to be younger people. They don't have as much experience in the job market, and can't expect them to know everything about the products we carry right off the bat. So really, it's totally just a personality thing.
Yep.
So,
and then they'll find the right department eventually, or they'll find the right fit.
Well, most of the time people come in when they apply. Like, we have these applications, these standard applications, and we ask what your interests are, because we want to know that in general, like, you have some sort of interest about what we carry. Maybe you're interested in skiing, and if you haven't worked in a ski shop before, like I said, I would prefer that you did. It's less training.
Right.
But if I feel like you're going to be an asset to our team, then we'll totally take you aboard.
Yeah. So what is, just a quick side note here, what is the weirdest thing that you have in your inventory? What's the most strange product that someone said, hey, we should carry this? Like, how with your great grandfather, oh, you should carry this. What's the weirdest thing you've been requested to carry, and the thing that you were like, this is weird, but this will be great?
Oh man, something that I just like complain. I mean, we had these. I guess it's not that weird. We had these like inflatable shot skis in the ski shop, which were pretty
Fun. Yeah.
sweet. They didn't sell that well. I think people like prefer to make their own. But one product that we buy every year and we don't make a lot of money on, and people always want, and you probably wouldn't think to ask for it. We have these like electronic, these heated hummingbird feeders.
Huh.
So in the winter, like when it freezes, right? They can still come and get it. We barely make any money on it, but we bring in a bunch, and people always ask for them whenever we sell out.
Yeah.
So yeah, heated hummingbird feeders, probably one of the strangest things
There's some
that we
bougie
stock.
hummingbirds.
I guess so. I don't
What did
know.
hummingbirds do before they were heated? Like, did they just
I think
hibernate
they
or
flew south for the winter. I have no idea.
did
I'm not
something?
sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you're keeping them up here.
I guess we are. Yeah, part of the problem. So
Part of the
yeah,
problem. Yeah, keeping them hooked on the juice.
yeah, we are.
Yeah. So on that note of inventory, I've watched a lot of, let's go Shark Tank. They always talk about inventory and inventory, like having too much of inventory or not having enough of inventory, having too much demand, like being in that role of managing that with ownership. What is that like to go, okay, I'm going to make a bet that this is how we did this last year. I'm going to make an educated guess on how much inventory do you sometimes get stuck with too much inventory? Does it sometimes completely go the opposite direct? Tell me more about inventory management with retail.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think inventory management is probably the greatest problem that any retailer has in general. For us, it's even more so just because some of our stuff is seasonal,
Yep.
you know, and that's why like for each department, it's been this way over the years. As a department store, we traditionally will have like buyer managers. So we'll have people. We have a dedicated footwear apparel buyer. We have a dedicated ski shop buyer, dedicated toy buyer. So they can kind of, monitor the inventory and see what's trending and all that sort of good stuff. Because me personally, I couldn't do it all myself. Even if I wanted to, there's just not enough time to monitor all that. So I think having a buyer manager for each department just really helps us out. But yeah, I mean, sometimes you have a terrible snow year up at Baker and you have all this inventory. I mean, this year, I don't know, this January sucked this year, right? It was like the driest year we've had in like 15 years up at Baker. So that wasn't great. And some years it dumps and then you sell out of stuff. And, there were supply chain issues during COVID where we weren't able to get a lot of the product that we ordered and everything. So yeah, it's always a moving target. That's for sure. I think for us too, like I said, just because of the seasonality of it, the ski snowboard's one thing. Footwear apparel is pretty easy. Toys is pretty much, I'd say kitchen is super easy, right? You just have the kitchen stuff. Same with camping. But the fishing is definitely hard too because, some things only open up for a few days, right? And you have to stock for it and then, they cancel it, or yeah. So I'd say fishing's probably the most difficult one in terms of having what you need. And then you have all this inventory. What do you do in January with it?
Yep.
So yeah.
What are some of your best selling products? Like what are some of the things that, okay. And
Which
I want to
department?
put this into two categories. First category is like the biggest surprising item. And then something that is like, okay, we expected this to go great and it is going great.
Okay, like a surprising item and then something that, well, I mean, I don't know. You'd be surprised at the number of shoes we sell. I mean, we sell a lot. I think for brick and mortar retail, that's going to be like the last thing standing because I won't buy shoes online. I have to go in and try it on because you never know how they're going to fit with the particular socks you're wearing and all. So I always buy shoes in person, always will. And that will be something. With other clothing, I think people, once they get a brand locked down, they're comfortable ordering their size online.
Yep.
But with shoes, it's definitely something that people are always going to stick to going in person. What was the other?
So that was the surprising one, the shoes, or is that the one that you expect to do well and then it does well?
I said it. You'd be surprised at how many we sell, but I think just having shoes. And in terms of something that maybe people wouldn't realize, I mean, I don't know, rentals,
Yeah.
like ski rentals. I don't think people realize it's just such a great thing to do, right? When your kid is growing, we have a great season rental program for kids, and they can come in and try on the boots, and then if their foot grows, over Christmas, they can come back. If they decide they want to switch it out mid-season to a snowboard instead of skis, they can do it as well. So if you're a family and you've got a bunch of kids, we just do so many rentals. It's just great because I go up and ski at Baker, and I like see our rental skis everywhere, and it's
Yeah.
just, I don't know, it feels awesome.
Like, all right.
Yeah, I know. It's great to see families getting out and doing that together. So
Because I mean, it's a long time before you stop growing, and it can be really really expensive if you're super into it. From like, I don't know, 10 to 30.
yeah, I mean our entire package price is still less than even like an entry pair of ski boots. So it's really good.
And that's for the full setup.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I kind of had to make that pivot myself because it was either mountain biking or skiing, and I decided to just do mountain biking. Also because the rising costs of just the day pass and everything, like versus just popping up to the mountain and going for a couple hours. But ski rentals, yeah, because I bought a pair of skis off of Facebook, and I just didn't enjoy it. I mean, I was flying out of the bindings. I didn't tighten them right. It was just, you would have been laughing,
Yeah, no.
other people's entertainment.
Yeah, we call that the Craigslist special.
That is what I did.
Yeah,
I got what I paid for.
It's not just, you can set it so the boot clicks in, right? But
Right.
it's more complicated than that. You have to make sure that the forward pressure is set. You have to calculate a din, and then once the boot is set correctly, then we test it, right? We have a torque wrench, a calibrated torque wrench. We test the release and make sure that the toe release and the heel release are in spec, and it's actually releasing when it's supposed to. So yeah, if you can get skis on Craigslist, just take them in to be worked on, so
Lesson learned.
yeah.
Yeah. So, okay. Test of time. You guys have been here for longer than most businesses in Bellingham. Economic up, economic down, tariffs, things like this, inventory issues. What's the family mentality around, like, when things are going really well, like you're crushing, you've nailed all your fishing orders, your rentals, like when everything's going well, what are you thinking about as far as what could happen? Like what negative economic things could happen? How do you guys plan ahead for that? Like what's the conversation like?
Well, for us, I mean, 104 years, there have been years where we've made tons of money, and there have been years where we've lost money, right? So you don't make it to 104 years. Like, if we would have just thrown in the towel on a down year, we would have been gone a long time ago. We're here just simply because we want to be here. Like, we love it. I mean, it's just a fourth generation family business. Like, it's a part of our family, right? So we're just gonna be here until we don't want to be here anymore. Essentially, if we
So
ever
200?
if we ever get 200 maybe. I don't know. It's just it almost skipped a generation, I guess you could say, because my great grandfather started it, and then my grandpa bought the business from him, right? But my dad, he worked in the store a little bit growing up, and during like Christmas breaks when he was going to law school and stuff. But his true passion was music, right? So he actually had a little music store next to our building. I don't know if you've ever seen it. We have this little, like, sketchy little building right next to us.
I know. Is it on the right? If you're like facing it, it's the right side.
And we just use it for storage. But we call it the Mana Building because it was his business was Mana Music.
Yeah.
And then he had it there, moved down to Holly Street, and then the last location was in Bakery Square. But his passion was music. So my grandpa was running the store until he died, and then we had a man named John Westerfield come take over as general manager for the next 10 or 12 years. But yeah, my dad was a judge here in town. That was his full-time job. So he intended pretty much when my grandpa died, I think he pretty much intended to, close down the store. But then he passed away in 2018. My mom got the business, and we were just like, let's just keep going.
Yeah.
So
it's interesting that there's that generational flow of like, I love this thing exists. It's been great for our family, but I want to do something completely different.
Yeah.
And other people go, This is great. Let's keep it going.
I know it's so, yeah. My family's been so diverse in terms of what they're interested in. Like even, you know, um, my great grandfather who started it, right? Obviously his daughter Marianne, she was all about the business, and she was probably the most involved person to this day. It was her life. But then he had a son who wanted nothing to do with the business, right? And he moved to France and went to art school, and he actually became a famous artist. He had studios in Napa and San Francisco and everything. Ira Yeager. If you Google Ira Yeager, you're gonna see an artist. That's the first thing that came up because it's the same name as his dad. But he wanted nothing to do with the business. So it's really, I think it is really remarkable that we are here 104 years later. It's always just been somebody like willing to carry on the torch.
Just when you think everyone's like, okay, there's always one person that's like, give me that thing. I got it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean that's kind of how I ended up here too. It wasn't my plan because growing up I was just like, yeah, we have this awesome store, and my dad went to law school and everything, and I was planning on going to dental school.
Yeah.
I mean that's I went to Western, and I was just taking all science classes and everything, and then I graduated, and I was like, well, I'll take a gap year and I'll run the ski shop, and then all of a sudden we needed a new general manager, and here I am.
Roped in.
Yeah, roped in.
The gift that keeps on giving.
Yeah, and my brother works at the store too, Jed. He's on our FFL, and he does all of our gun stuff and everything. Yep. But we're gonna keep it going until we're done.
Yeah, it's 200. Yeah,
maybe 200. Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah. So as far as marketing goes, because I know how I found out about Yeager's was driving by it when I first got to Bellingham and going, what's this? This looks cool.
That place?
Then figuring out what it was, and then also just lots of word of mouth, right? But we're also in this like age of the exhausting social media, which is why Taylor and Cooper and Tiffany do that, and
yeah,
they're much better at it than we are. But tell me a little bit more about that. Like, okay, we had kind of talked about it at the beginning, but it's the people, the word of mouth. That's how it's been for 104 years. But then you're like, okay, the Western student that, driving a few miles up north, not that far, doesn't know about it unless it's on Facebook because they're glued to their phone, right? Like, tell me about that adaptation to like this new age of marketing and getting the website up and diving into that, whether that was begrudgingly or just like, yep, this is the way it's going to be, and we need to do this, and this will be good.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely changed. I mean, we used to do a lot more print.
Yeah.
Like we were doing magazines, we were doing mailers, everything. We were doing a lot of radio. We were doing a lot of radio actually until just a little bit ago. We had the outdoor report that Westy would do on the radio. And we'll typically do some radio closer to Christmas as well. But I'm not doing much print at all anymore. I've heard mailers actually have a really good rate of return because it's like something physical, something tangible that you get. Oh, what's this? So I don't know. I might go back to doing mailers, but we're not really doing much magazine. Well, at least not as much as we used to anymore. I think in terms of socials, Facebook is where we started. So yeah, we started Facebook like I think 2012, something like that. And then I don't know when we started the Instagram. We're not on TikTok. Maybe we should be. I don't know. It's like,
I have an opinion about that.
Do you?
I just decided I had one for a little bit, and I was like, nah, delete Snapchat, delete TikTok. I don't need to do that. It's just like the cutoff. I'm 34, and I was like, the cutoff for me is Instagram and Facebook, and I don't even really want to be on Facebook anymore that much. And so I just realizing that I didn't want to do all the real estate TikTok dancing and all the sign waving or whatever that people do. So
I think that's kind of how I feel about it. I more see it as, we have this new product and we'll take a picture of it. Come check it out.
Yeah.
I don't really like doing a bunch of reels and stuff like that. And it's just, I don't know. It's not really what I like. But yeah, we do the Facebook, we do Instagram, a little bit of radio here and there, email. We're starting to do like some more, text and email campaigns. They integrate with our website. So like, it's the standard thing. You come to the website, you give us your email, and you get a 15% off code.
Yep.
Stuff like that, which is nice because you can track it.
Yeah. Or if I buy something, I'm in the POS system.
Yeah.
And then you can market to me.
Exactly. Yeah. And that's something that you can, really get your rate of return on. versus radio. It's kind of like, did you hear about it on the radio?
Yep.
Do you know how to work the radio in your car? Does your car have radio? So I think that's kind of why we've stopped doing that. We were doing one. We were like sending out coupons to mailboxes, and then they would come in with the coupon, so we could kind of loosely track that as well.
Couponers, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. There's definitely a group, the couponers. What are the people that like the?
Oh man, those people. If you stop it for even a heartbeat, they're on you.
They're hooked.
They're like and then you get these people. You're like, are you ever going to buy something full price?
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
The purpose of a discount is so that you buy something at discount and then buy
you'd be
more.
You'd be surprised how much people like supporting local when it's on sale, right?
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, that's kind of, I wouldn't say, we could probably do a better job with marketing overall. I think just because we've been here for so long, maybe we don't think about it as much as we should. But with all the new people moving here, I think they say Bellingham's supposed to increase by like 20,000 people in the next few years. They need to hear about us somehow.
And those are probably a good percentage of those people probably moved here because they want to be out. They love the outdoors.
Yeah, I know. We'll have to see. Maybe we will open up a bike shop one day. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
In 150 year at the 150 anniversary.
We'd have to figure out where to put it though, because we don't really have space for it. But I don't know. Maybe build another part of the building.
Well, it's interesting. It's kind of like you guys have your spot. You've added on to it, and it's almost it's probably this interesting balance of it's working really well. And I would say for a newer business, being on social media, yeah, but like the word of mouth and the fact that you guys have been around for so long, you have such a broad inventory, and it's just Bellingham is built on small businesses, and you guys have been here for a long time.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like I think more and more people are gravitating towards the experience of buying something in person or getting back to meeting in person versus what we had to deal with during COVID, which was like, hey, digital Wyatt, how you doing? You know? So you were talking also about the relationships that you have with like your suppliers, your manufacturers, you're alluding to North Face, and during COVID when there were supply chain issues and the tariffs, tell me about that experience of how they've showed up. It sounds like they showed up and were like, hey, we've got you covered and we want to keep buying our products. And
yeah. I mean, we certainly have vendors we like better than other vendors, just in terms of what they're willing to deal with in terms of like terms for product. Some vendors, they want net 30, they want payment 30 days. Other vendors, net 120. A lot of the ski vendors are actually great. They're like, we'll ship you stuff in August and you can pay for it in February. They understand how it works. They understand that you have a certain window that you can sell the product full price. After Christmas, everyone wants it on sale. It's brutal in the ski stuff specifically. But there's some vendors we've just been working with for a long time and just built up the relationship with. And there's even some newer vendors that, they're so new, they're just desperate to get, people buying stuff. So they will throw you a bone when they can.
Flexible terms.
Yeah.
And with you're talking about net 30, just for our listeners, that's just the timeline that you have. It's like basically a line of credit essentially for the inventory, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, when you're talking about turning over inventory, I mean, kind of the way it's supposed to work is you buy the product, right? Ideally, you would sell enough of that product over this period of time to pay that bill. And then after that, maybe you start to make some money if you're lucky. So depending on what you're selling, net 30 could be tough, right? So maybe for fishing tackle, a net 30, maybe you'd pay for it in that time because people are buying it every day. But for some other stuff, like I said, coming back to ski, I buy the skis for the season, but people are going to buy it over a few months, which is kind of why they have those extended terms. So it's really, like I said, the terms are all over the place, which makes like cash flow management a nightmare, right? Mm-hmm. Because it's you have to have all this stuff at the start of the season, but then the bill is due here, and we're still trying to, you're like paying these ski shop bills, but you're still buying fishing tackle, and it's kind of all over the place. It's kind of like running like 7 businesses at once.
No kidding.
So yeah,
and that's probably why other retailers just do one thing.
Yeah,
they can predict one thing, which makes it even more impressive, the fact that you guys have been able to do that for so long. And I'm sure things have changed over the years, but I mean, that's wild.
Yeah.
That's
It's
wild.
a lot of just shooting from the hip and, like I said, crossing your fingers and hoping it works out. But it's definitely, the way that we've just been running it like that, it's probably not, doesn't make the most sense financially, right? It would probably just be better to hone in on a certain sector. But, we've just become the business that Bellingham wants. And that's why we carry the stuff we do. So,
Yeah. It's interesting too, because in many industries there is an industry specific seasonality, and you are literally relying on the seasons of like the year,
yep.
like the weather.
Well, coming back to that, I think we talked about this a little bit earlier, but that's actually probably one of the other reasons we've been around for so long is because, I mean, maybe we have a terrible ski season, terrible snow year, but we have all these other departments that we can get revenue from. So it's not like we just fold up because we're, just focused on that income stream when we have all these other departments that maybe they're doing great. Maybe it's a great fishing year. We make a ton of money there. I think being able to pull from all those departments just really helps spread everything out.
Yeah. On one hand, the diversification of inventory is a major pain in the ass. And on the other side, it's actually the saving grace of the business in some years.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously you want them all to crush it.
Yeah.
But it probably doesn't work like that every year. Most
No.
years is probably like a mixed bag.
Yeah. And there are some years where everything's just awesome too.
Yeah.
So it's kind of the wild, wild west in brick and mortar retail. So
Yeah. What do you see coming down the pike for retail? I mean, what are some of the biggest concerns and the things that you alluded to 20,000 people over the next couple years and a handful of years in Bellingham? What are some of the things that you guys are looking forward to with what you do and what you're expecting to kind of, you can't predict the future, but like, what are you excited about? What are you kind of going, kind of flinching?
I'm actually excited to, I don't know the last time you've been in the store, but we had to do a major flip.
Mm-hmm.
So there's some new legislation that went into effect July 1st in regards to the storage of firearms. So we are an FFL, and basically they said if you have a store that you're selling firearms out of, all the windows, all the points of entry either have to have like shutters or steel bars. We had our guns upstairs, and we have 80 feet of glass on Northwest. So they said you have to put shutters there or steel bars, and like we looked into it, and it was going to be like $140,000. Doesn't make us any extra money. So what we decided to do is we put hunting and fishing downstairs, because downstairs is essentially, it's a concrete bunker already. I mean, we have 2 doors. We have a stairway door, and we have this door. We put in some concrete ballards, and then just a gate, and we were able to become compliant for like way, way less money. So that was a whole thing. Then the ski paddle shop went to the front of the store, so that's visible from the street now. And then Toyland went into where the old ski shop was. So there's a lot of moving.
Ski shop, was it in the back?
Yeah, ski paddle was in the back. I guess it depends on which door you come in. But yeah,
if I'm coming in the
lot,
front door off of Northwest and I'm facing,
it would be in the back. Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
So the ski shop was back there, and then in the summertime we do paddle shop back there. But we didn't have space for everything, so like all the ski stuff would have to go into storage, and then our boats would come out, and every single year we would do this huge flip of that department, where we'd have to take all the ski stuff out, put all the paddle stuff in, and every single time we do it, we'd be, "Are you guys closing?" Like, no, we're doing the flip that we do every single year. So now with the new layout of the store, we can like leave out some boats because we have more physical space for them in that part of the store. It's taller, and then hunting and fishing actually got more square footage by moving downstairs as well. So I think if anything, in the years to come here, still doing toys, right? We won, I forget which magazine it is. There's all these Cascade's Best, I think.
Yep.
I don't know, there's several of them. Won gold for Best Toy Store this year, which is awesome. So we're still going to do the toys. We still love the toys. If anything, maybe we are, honing back a little bit on the kitchen stuff. I mean, I don't know. I'm not just particularly passionate about kitchen stuff, and I think, there's greenhouse in town as well, and I think they're moving to State Street on a
Yeah,
new location there as
they're
well.
building out their new space.
And we have camp kitchen stuff, and that's fine. I like to have that. But in terms of the other just random kitchen gadgets and stuff, I don't know. I don't really think I'm going to carry that stuff moving forward. So yeah, if anything, our ski and paddle shop has more square footage, and we actually have more square footage downstairs for hunting and fishing. And I see our fishing department growing. We've had a really good year, despite the move, like having to move all this stuff in the middle of the summer. It's been a really good year for fishing, and we have more square footage down there. So yeah, that's something that I see growing.
And do you have people that have been regulars forever come in and go when you first did the move and go, is this the same store?
Oh man, it's been rough. I mean, because I don't know, we did a little bit of layout movement during COVID because we had the time. We were temporarily shut down in April for just curbside pickup, so we were like, oh, let's do some remodeling. We moved the knife counter, incorporated it into hunting and fishing, so that was a huge thing. But yeah, this last couple months, it's just been crazy. I mean, people come in the front door, and it's like, their eyes, they're like, where's the fishing stuff?
Yeah.
And we have to tell them it's downstairs now. Why'd you put it downstairs? Well, kind of had to.
Just go downstairs.
Go downstairs. They're like, you guys have a downstairs? So it's actually been great because a lot of people didn't even know we had a downstairs. So
I'll pick up a new rifle and some toys for my kid.
Yeah, you can do that. So yeah, it's been a lot of moving stuff around, but it's just been the nature of the store. I mean, downstairs, I think as of recent, last 30, 40 years, people have just expected toys down there. But it wasn't built for toys. Like, we used to have boats down there. There used to be this giant boat lift that was in front of the entrance, which we took down during COVID. But yeah, there used to be boats down there. There was a whole boat showroom. That's why it's a garage door down there, because
Makes
we had to
sense.
get boats in and out. So the store has always changed in terms of the layout as well. Not just the inventory, but the layout itself.
It's time for a new evolution, right?
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. Like I said, bikes.
Yeah.
Maybe. I don't know.
It's a whole ball of wax from what I've seen. But hey, everyone. We have 3 bikes, and a lot of people have a lot of bikes. And need bikes. And I'm curious. We've talked about the management around the management of inventory and the different seasons. Let's talk a little bit about the regulation, because you've got guns, right? And that is a regulated, inventory. And you just were alluding to this, you had to put this new state law came into effect that you had to have all the, the protection from the outside, right? How is it managing the constant, is it kind of a moving target on legislation around, gun sales?
Definitely. Yeah. I mean, if anything, Washington State's, last few years, we had the assault weapons ban, and then, magazine ban as well. And then this new legislation, I think for some of the smaller FFLs, this new legislation, I mean, it makes sense, right? In the grand scheme of things, guns are more secure. They're less likely to get stolen, so that's a good thing. It is, I think, for some of these smaller mom and pop shops, which the majority of FFLs are, it's tough on them. If you're, like Cabela's or something like that, a lot of them were compliant anyways. They had the ballards and everything. So yeah, it is. I think it is always a moving target. I mean, when we see these bills come into place and stuff, there's these waves of people, and the bill is trying to accomplish a certain thing, but then you have people buying stuff that they weren't even going to buy,
right?
Because they're all of a sudden you might not be able to get it anymore, so all of a sudden I need 20 of them, so it's very interesting to see, but it definitely comes in waves in terms of the legislation that's being passed.
Yeah, it must be just wild to navigate, to have that happening while also managing the different timelines of the different retail products to all of the things. And when do you get a chance to get out and take a break? What do you do in your spare time? Maybe outdoors?
Yeah, no,
just a little bit.
Yeah, a lot of hiking. I've really gotten into paddling.
Yeah.
Just because I was a ski paddle manager. That's kind of what I started managing first. I've just gotten really into paddling, specifically canoeing. We had a ski team this year. We do every year.
Yep.
But we did.
You guys usually finish pretty strong too.
We did, and we're gonna do even better next year. We got, I think we got 13th place, 13th or 14th this year out of 500.
Nice. Yep.
So that was great. We got first in our division, Rec Open. But I think we're gonna do competitive Open next year.
Nice. Turn it up a notch.
Yeah, we get to use faster boats and everything. There's if you're in the rec division, you have to use a certain canoe and a certain kayak
Yep.
and stuff. But yeah, I like to do that. But to get away from the store, I mean, our biggest day of the year is our 12-hour sale, which
Yep.
is usually the first Wednesday of December. It is 12-hour day, a huge day, massive day at the store. We do fun stuff. We have like live music and coffee and stuff like that. And then after that, my family likes to we like do a trip to Leavenworth.
Nice.
We stay at the Indian Inn there, and we just like to get away from it all for a couple of days, and
Just
then
decompress a little bit.
decompress, and then come back, and you hit the ground running again right up until Christmas Eve. We're open on Christmas Eve until like 3 or 4 o'clock, and
Those last minute gifts.
holy cow, it's an insane day. I don't understand how. There's people like me out there that just forget to buy gifts, and all of a sudden, oh, Christmas is tomorrow.
I think it's a
So,
human thing.
I think so. Or the Amazon package didn't come, so you got to get something to wrap up or whatever. But yeah, we do that too. We like to go to Hawaii as well. We've been going to Kauai, I think 4 or 5 times now. It's kind of our favorite island, and the whole family goes and just love it. But yeah, other than that, just typical Bellingham things
Yeah.
like hiking and skiing, and do a little bit of pickleball too. I've gotten pretty good at pickleball.
That's how you know you're getting old.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I actually started. I was a tennis player, so
Yeah.
pickleball. I was like, this is easy.
And
So.
my buddies that are tennis players, they're like, pickleball's not real.
I know. It's still fun though.
It's
And
still really
I like
fun.
it because if you play it, I feel like anybody can pick up pickleball in
Yep.
a couple hours. Tennis, you gotta get some lessons.
You need some
and
lessons, yeah,
Tennis,
for sure.
they're hitting the ball. It's going 200 feet in the air. So, yeah.
Yeah. So working with family,
hmm
it's probably awesome. And then there's probably there's the pros and the cons. What are the good parts about working with family? What are the tough parts about working with family?
Yeah. Well, my mom is my boss technically, right? She's the owner of the store, so I don't know if she can fire me. Maybe she can. I'm not sure. And then my brother, he's doing the gun stuff down there too. It's been great.
Yeah.
I like I said, I think the only thing, maybe the only negative of it is talking about. I don't know how to explain it. It's like, you go to work and then maybe you're going out to dinner and then you're talking about work and stuff, and it's just always
Just continues to flow.
when everyone in the family is working at the store, it's just kind of something that is always on topic. I feel like a lot of other people, if they're doing shift work or whatever, they can clock in for their shift and then they leave work behind.
Yep.
They come home, work-life balance. So I think that's really the only negative. It's kind of always on hand and something we're talking about. But I think the positives of it far outweigh that.
Yeah.
So
What
I
are-
think too, the difficult thing, being general manager of the store and having all these employees. I mean, there are a lot of employees in the store that are like old enough to be my parents, right? I'm 29, and it's a little bit of a weird dynamic when you have somebody who's 50 and you're like telling them what to do, or you have to come in and talk about work performance with somebody who's so much older than you. It's a little awkward, but it's gotten better. I think for me, it's just a little bit less awkward than it was when I started. I think with a family business like this and me being in my role, you just come in hot, and people just have all these, like nepotism assumptions and stuff like that. But I've been working at the store a long time. Like I first started working there when I was 13. I was snowman duty. We had a snowman, and I would stand out on the corner and wave at people. I think,
You're getting the sales done.
yeah, working as many hours as a 13-year-old is allowed to work. But yeah, I think too, it's a difficult thing when you have these people and you're trying to hire people that you really get along with. You start to become their friends, and at the same time, you want to become their friends. You want to be personal with them. Follow them on Instagram, stuff like that. But that person, you also have to be willing to fire them if you need to. So it's really rough trying to be friendly and get along with people, but at the same time, having to do what you need to do if it comes to it.
It's a gray area, fine line. It's tough. Yeah.
It's tough, and that's happened a couple times. So I think over time, I've just, I do like to be friends with all my employees and everything, but at the same time, I try not to, have too much contact outside of work, because it just sucks when if you have to let someone go that you've gotten close to, and it's a business decision. It's just like, it's the absolute worst thing. I hate doing it. So I try to avoid doing it when possible, but yeah, it's not fun. That's probably the worst part of the job, really. I mean, just having to deal with those interpersonal issues.
Mm-hmm.
So
It's tough.
yeah, it's like way more stressful than anything to do with finances or anything like that. Like, yeah, having to deal with issues like that is just, yeah.
Caring about humans, but taking care of, the thing that takes care of the humans at the same time. It's this weird cyclical
Yeah.
thing here. What are, over the next 96 years, when you get to year 200, what are some of the things that you're excited about for the future? I mean, is it hey, we're going to just keep doing things the way we're doing and just killing it? Or are there some things that obviously you had the big rearranging of the departments. Like, what are you excited about?
Yeah. Growing the e-commerce.
Yep.
Yeah, it's been a thing. Like I said, we never thought we'd have one, but it's been really fun. Every time we get an order, I'm excited.
Like, bing!
I would sell, like when I was younger, I would sell some stuff on eBay, and I sold a lot of stuff on I don't know if you've heard of it. It's called Reverb.
I've heard of Reverb. Yeah, I don't know.
It's like a specialty for musical instruments and stuff. But yeah, I started doing that sort of stuff. So being able to do that with the store, to have our own e-commerce, is just awesome. And I really want to grow that. I think we're big enough, 24,000 square foot. I don't really want to have a second brick and mortar in Bellingham or anything like that. I would consider one maybe outside of Whatcom County, maybe opening up a second location in Skagit or something like that, or maybe even further south, maybe Seattle. Yep. I don't know. It's just, you walk in downtown Seattle right now, there's empty retail everywhere.
Yep.
So hopefully we get to a point where that can come back. I don't know exactly what that means, but yeah, I would love to see more brick and mortar in general in like downtown Seattle. So I don't know. That's kind of a little further down the line. But if I were to do another brick and mortar, I would probably want to open something up in Seattle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, there's a huge opportunity down there right now.
I know.
Yeah.
There's like nothing down there. I feel like it would be easy if you could, I don't know, just maybe get some strong like riot glass or something so the windows aren't getting broken. But I don't know.
Keep those things strong. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's been awesome talking to you.
Yeah, you too. This is a nice little. It looks better than I saw some of the older videos too, and it looks like, I don't know where you're filming those, but this is a sweet setup.
It's been a constant evolution. Just like, I mean, it started out. Actually, we started recording, Coop and I, at Binary Studios, which is like where the people can go to record like audiobooks and stuff, and it's out off of Mission Road.
Oh, okay.
So we're like, starting this podcast, and we're like, oh, okay, what do we want to talk about? I'm like, well, I want to talk to local business owners and, leaders, nonprofits, and I just wanted people that are impacting Bellingham. And so we recorded that for a year, and then we're like, okay, back to square one. We're not going to do the studio thing anymore. So then it was just kind of a makeshift studio, and then all of a sudden it's like gotten more and more official. The dream, though, is eventually just to have one space that we soundproof out, and we have it like fully like set to be a studio and not like a changing room. But yeah, no, it's just like anything, just like, the family business, it's just a constantly evolving thing that we love to do. So
yeah,
but yeah,
that's sweet. And that's quite the setup. So
yeah,
I'm excited to watch the episodes. I was watching some of them. I've been on the Instagram. Are the full links to those posted somewhere else?
They're all on YouTube and Spotify. So they're usually the clip, and then there's the cut to.
Okay.
So it's usually just a clip of a quote.
So the full links are on YouTube.
Full links are on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Music, everything.
Okay.
Yep.
Sweet. Yeah, I'm excited to. I was just going through some of them, and I'm just excited to. I'd just love to hear other people, other business owners, talking about their story, and the challenges they've had and successes and everything. So
it's a crash course MBA.
Yeah. I know.
Well, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Episode 2, kicking the season off right.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, if you're listening to this, Instagram, Facebook, and on the e-commerce website. But I would say to kick it off properly, you got to go into the store. You got to walk around. You got to, like we had talked about, go in and find the shoes that you like. Go talk to a friendly employee. If you have kids, take them, for Wyatt's sake, take him down to the kids section because you'll walk out, buying a bunch of toys. But at the same time, beware, because obviously kids are little magnets of, I want this one, I want this one. But it's great for you guys. And it's great for the
Yeah. Any first timers to the store, make sure you visit both levels because we have two stories. So
go explore, go walk
explore.
around.
Yeah.
And then in the future, if you can't make it in or you're a little further out, just buy it on the website.
There you go.
But go follow, go like, go subscribe, go do all the things.
YeagerSportingGoods.com. We're on Instagram, Facebook, no TikTok, but what are you going to do?
Yeah, TikTok.
Maybe if I get some dancing lessons. I don't know.
Sweet. Thanks, Wyatt. Thanks for joining us.
Perfect. Thanks for having me.